Okay. So that's why I was going to go back to the original question. You made a comment that we need to know the business that the organization's in. Why is that important?
Because ultimately, anything in a company, including cybersecurity, is to support and enable the business.
Right.
And this is one thing that a lot of security engineers miss. And I'll give you right now the golden rule. The golden rule of cybersecurity is this: if cybersecurity negatively impacts the business, cybersecurity is wrong. And this is something that a lot of folks getting in the field 2, 3, 4 years, they don't understand. They go, but Eric, this decision needs to be made. This is too big a risk and we cannot do this. And I go, does it hurt the business? And they go, well, I don't know. Well, I'm like, well, it financially impacts the business, so it hurts the business. It's wrong. And they're like, but Eric, it's not wrong. And I'm like, yes, it is, because cybersecurity is not about being 100% secure. It's enabling the business to be as successful as possible.
And I think that's a key point. That I want to emphasize that because it's so important that we think of it in that way, because us IT guys, cybersecurity guys put on our hat and go, this is the best technology. This is the most innovation. We have to have two-factor authentication. We need to have, vulnerability scanning. We need to have this, and this. But like you said, I think is so important is, does it affect the business? Right? Does it impact it? Does it make it an enabler and help them grow? Or does it, decrease the actual growth and revenue and everything along that line, which I think you're saying is the CISO's role. There's responsibility.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what the CISO needs to do. But to me, it's really the job of anybody who works in security. So when I used to be a CISO, what I would do with my security engineers is, if they were going to advise on a project, say for sales and marketing, I would contact the vice president of sales and marketing and say, listen, can my person sit in on your weekly staff meetings for 3 weeks? Because I wanted that engineer to understand how a sales and marketing organization works and operates. So now when they're advising on security, they're understanding what they're doing. Because to me, one of the mistakes that I see happen all the time is this idea of cookie cutter security. I'm not a fan of a lot of these frameworks where you just take this framework. Oh, are you a bank? Boom. Are you healthcare? Boom. Are you cybersecurity needs to be customized to the organization and unique to the challenges that that organization or business unit is facing. So to me, the really successful cybersecurity people, whether they're engineers or the ones that become CISOs, are the ones that come up with custom, unique solutions. They understand the business first, and then they implement effective security measures second. Most people do it backwards. They implement security first, they see what breaks, and then they try to fix it after the fact.
Okay. And I mean, that's phenomenal. I mean, bringing up that point, right? That, when you're looking at the different technologies and different solutions and things that people are implementing, sometimes it's a backwards a methodology or even thought process.
Exactly. And one of the simple rules that I always follow and I always train people on, because it helps sort of align, is before you spend an hour of your time or $1 of your budget on anything in the name of security, you always want to be able to answer 3 questions. What is the risk to the organization that you're trying to reduce? Is it the highest priority risk? And is your solution the most cost-effective way of reducing it? Because I find a lot of folks, I went to an organization recently and they're like, Eric, we need $600K to implement this new AI solution, and nobody in the business is looking to us. And I go, well, what risk are you trying to reduce? They're like, Eric, what are you talking about? This is a big problem. You know that AI can help. And I'm like, yes, but what is the risk you're trying to reduce? And they're like, but Eric, you're missing the point. And I'm like, no, you're missing the point. The reason why executives aren't listening to you is because you get emotional. Another rule that I always train security people on is let data drive decisions, not emotions. I'll tell you right now, if you want to convince any executive to give you money, it's the easiest trick on the planet. It's 4 things. Here's the risk. Here's the likelihood of it occurring. Here's the cost if it occurs, and here's the cost to fix it. I'll tell you right now, if I go to any executive and I say, okay, there's a risk that has a 95% chance of occurring, and when it occurs, it's going to cost you $20 million, and I want $200K to fix it, I always get the $200K because it's a no-brainer. Who wouldn't? spend $200K to stop a $20 million risk that has a 92% chance of occurring, but we don't present it that way. We often go in, things are bad, things are bad, blah, blah, and we get all this emotion and everything else. And that's why executives aren't paying attention. All they care about is dollars. And if we present things in that manner, we win. And then here's the illuminating part. I had somebody goes, Eric, what if I have a risk that only has a 5% chance of occurring? If it occurs, it will cost the organization $100K, and I want $200K to fix it. And I said, first of all, if you present that to the executives, you're going to get kicked out of the office because it's stupid. You accept that risk. Oh, no, but Eric, no, there's some risks you have to accept. If there's a risk that only has a 5% chance of occurring and it costs more to fix it, then if it happens, you accept it and you don't present the risk. But that's the problem. We forget that cybersecurity is about risk management. And as soon as that happens, that's when security people and organizations get into trouble.